Good morning and welcome to Living Joyfully Homestead. Thanks for stopping by. A few weeks ago, a funny memory came about my son, Justin. Justin passed away My son Justin passed away from sepsis on November 5th of 2020. So we're about 3 months into not having him here. I miss his laugh, his amazing sense of humor, his motorcycle blaring up to the house, and him coming in with all of his leathers and the smell that brought into our house that I liked, and his helmet and everything. But a few weeks ago, a story came up that I wanted to share with you today. A while ago, I called my daughter-in-law, Angela, Justin's wife, and asked her to keep her eyes open for a cast iron Dutch oven that had been in our family for probably 100 years. We've always had it. And when Brian's parents passed, it came to us, and we use it. Justin and I switched back and forth. He'd bake bread in it and do other things, and I usually just use it for bread. Well, Angela was pretty sure that he'd given that back to me. I wasn't sure. We had came back and forth so many times, but we both decided we'd keep our eyes open for it. I felt like he hadn't returned it, but I wasn't positive about that. So she said she'd look for it and see if she could find it for us. Well, she called a few weeks ago and said that she was getting a new bed in her bedroom, and when they took the bed apart, what do you think she found underneath the bed frame? Was the Dutch oven. But she said it wasn't the Dutch oven, it was just the lid. So we laughed and we thought, well, if the lid's there, probably the rest of it's there too. So she said she'd keep her eyes open, and she did. And when she called a few days ago, she was pretty embarrassed. She said she found it, of all places, on their back porch, their little back patio. And all we can think of is that while he was using it, it had, I don't know, burnt something, or something had started smoking, and he had taken the Dutch oven part, the pan part, out to their porch, and then he was planning on dealing with it later. But of course, he didn't get a chance. He didn't get a chance to go back and do it later, which is why Angela and I were talking about it. So she said she was really embarrassed how bad it looked, and she wanted to come by and bring it to me, but she said she'd have to put it in plastic bags. And I thought, well, that would be a nice video to post, how to take care of the cast iron, because I'm just learning about it too. And I thought, well, this will be a good project. So while I was going to make this video only about reseasoning a pan, cleaning it and reseasoning it, I thought there's too many lessons here that I don't want to overlook. This is really hard for me to talk about. When I saw the condition the pan was in a year ago, that would have been irritating to me. Because Justin had this funny way about him. If he left your house, the screen door was wide open. If he had a drink at your house, his cup was put down where he put it. It would just stay there. He had every intention of picking it up and taking it to the kitchen, but somehow he didn't master that skill. And every Thanksgiving, when he made turkey for us, he would somehow have to take the broiler pan out to our patio just to get it out of the way, and then I would inevitably be cleaning it up the next day. So, but back then, it would have been irritant to me, And this lesson, it just became so clear to me that that's just the way he was. And what I would give to clean up something that he had used, if it meant that he would be here. And I think this is true as we do with children and our husbands and wives and everything else, What's the opposite of having to deal with that? Never having to deal with it. You could have a perfectly clean house if you had no children. You would never argue with anyone if you didn't have your other family members. You know, but we want those things in our lives. We need those things in our life. And I just wanted to share that story with you, that it felt really good that when I saw the skillet or the Dutch oven in the bag, I took it out. It really made me smile because it just felt like that was Justin. That's exactly how he would have, no, he would never have returned it that way, but it would just kind of sort of happen to be left that I cleaned it up. Anyway, so it felt good to laugh because this has been really, really hard. But anyway, now I'm going to show you the first few steps of reseasoning a cast iron product, a cast iron item. I've been following Living Traditions Homestead, Kevin and Sarah Matthews, for several years now, and he gave a very good way. He just presented that on their YouTube channel, Living Traditions, how to do this. So I'm going to show you how I'm doing mine, and we'll see how it turns out. Okay. First thing you have to do is preheat your oven to 450 degrees. He said you can even do it on a self-clean cycle. It would be just fine. What I've also done is placed foil on the bottom of my oven to catch anything that might drop off the pan. So I don't know if you can see this, but it's pretty gross. I don't know. You can't really see the buildup and bubbles and bumps and everything that are on this. It's pretty gross. But I'm going to turn it upside down, put it on a rack with the lid, and leave it in the oven for a couple of hours. Kevin explained that the cast iron is porous, and the heat opens up the pores, and when it cools, it closes them. So, and it traps the oil that you season it with in. So I'm going to let this go for a couple hours, and when I come back, we'll see what's come off, how it looks, and then if it looks okay, we'll go ahead and start reseasoning it. Okay, it's been 2 hours. Now you can see how cruddy it was. This is after 2 hours, so I don't know what happened in here, but I'm gonna get this all cleaned off, get the loose bits out. This might be a all-day thing. I'll finish scraping this, emptying the waste, and I'm gonna stick it in the oven for a couple more hours, and then I'll get right back to you. Bye. Hi, I'm back. Let's take a look and see what 2 more hours have done to my cast iron Dutch oven. I don't think the lid needed to be in there. Oh wow, whole bunch more came off. I don't know if you can see that. I think I'm going to put this back and go look for a wire brush that I think I have. I think I've heard that you can use that to get some of this off, but I think it needs to be baked more just to kind of melt it off. A lot came off on the foil that I had in the oven, so it's working. It's working, it's just going to take a little more time. So I'll be back after we get some more off. Hi, I'm back. I took this out of the oven and it still needs scrubbing. I went to go get a little wire brush at Amy Hardware. 3 of them for only $4.50. That's a good deal. So I'm going to let this cool off, I think, and do some scrubbing on it with this. But I have kids coming tonight. Yay! Haven't seen my grandkids for about a week and a half. I'm real excited. So I'm going to work on this tonight. But I'll finish it so you can see how it works, okay? Have a really joyful day, and I'll be back in a little bit. Hi again. It's the next day. That ended up being quite a long process, 2 hours at a time in the oven. I finally got it. Can you see this pan? I don't know if you can see the rust It's just kind of a powdery rust inside, but the same rust is on this pan, the lid. And as you can you see? I used a little oil on it, and it looks like after I season it, it'll look a lot better. So that was a way worse project than I thought it was gonna be. I don't know what happened in that pan. But for right now, I'm gonna just turn some heat on and follow Kevin from Living Traditions' advice about how to just season it now. And then we'll see what it looks like. Maybe I'll have to do more, maybe I'll have to do less. Well, maybe I can't do anything, but we'll see. I think because this looks better, I think that's all I'm gonna need to do. Oh my goodness, it looks like it's just coming to life. I'm gonna turn it off. Gonna go around every part of this. When I'm done going over the outside of this, I'll get right back to you. Okay, I'm back. This is the inside of the pan part of the Dutch oven. It's got that rusty color all over it, but it's nice and smooth. I got all the powdery part of it washed off, but this is how the lid looks. Is that not beautiful? It looks great, inside and out. So I'm gonna let it sit there for a while, as Kevin suggested, and let all these pores that are open now cool off and trap the fat inside, and it'll give it a better appearance, I think. I've been told that you have to go through this process sometimes 5 or 6 times. Before it is completed. Heating, cooling it, adding oil each time. So we'll see if I can get this back to where it was. I've had so much time to think about Justin while I work on this. I miss him so much. I wonder when he would have gotten this back to me. I don't know. I would love to have another opportunity to share this with him and make bread. I don't know what he did in it. I think he made more regular food than bread, but I like it. I like using this for a rustic bread recipe I have. It's very good. Okay, we're gonna let that cool off, and we'll probably do it 2 or 3 more times. Well, I must say, this is truly back to my beautiful cast iron Dutch oven. Look at how beautiful that is. Woohoo, it's beautiful. I think I'm gonna make some bread this week. Maybe that's the next video. And you know, I've thought of my son Justin the whole time I've been working on this. Wishing he was here. Glad he's no longer suffering, but wishing I could make bread with him one more time again in my cast iron skillet. If you enjoyed the video, I know this is rough. It's been a really emotional thing to get through for the first time, but it's only video number 1, so it'll get better from here, I promise. I am looking for joy. I hope you find joy today, and in everything that you do, look for it because it's there. Just embrace it. And if you like this video, please press like or just subscribe and see what comes along next. Thank you for visiting Living Joyfully Homestead.